Keith Grinke here from Top MMA News with Brian Bird from Champions Creed, one of the pioneers here in Western Canada of MMA training. Brian, nice to talk to you here. Before we get into what's up with your gym here, how'd you get involved with MMA?
Well, as a kid, like everybody, I did a little bit of martial arts. I was, interested in, so did some karate, some kung fu, that kind of stuff. But actually, when I was in high school, I had a buddy of mine who was really into wrestling, like pro wrestling, and he, we were talking one day about, oh, what are you gonna do when you grow up? And he was like, I'm gonna be a shoot fighter. And I was like, what are you talking about? And he's like, he started showing me these videos from Japan of these guys that shoot fight, which, for people who don't know what shoot fighting is, it's kind of looks like MMA, but it's still pro wrestling. It's choreographed, but they did submissions and leg locks, all the chokes, all that kind of stuff. And yeah, he showed me a key lock. I, put it on, and I'd never seen anything like that, and I got hooked immediately. And so after that, the UFC came out. I saw UFC #2. That was the first one I actually saw, and saw Royce Gracie go in there and do his thing. And then I was super hooked and started trying to pursue a place to learn that kind of stuff. And then from there wasn't anybody that taught it really around here, so we started learning off books and videos in the old days, and got a group of guys together. We'd roll around and try and figure some of the stuff out, and then eventually we started traveling to different places to learn from proper instructors, and it just built from there.
So are you belted under somebody for?
Yeah, I am under Roy Harris. I'm a black belt under Roy Harris. So Roy Harris is out of San Diego.
One of the most dangerous men in the world.
yeah. Mr. Harris, for me, he was one of the best instructors I could have for long distance learning. Like, I've trained a lot of different instructors, and they're all very good, great people, that kind of thing. Mr. Harris has the ability, though, to pass knowledge on in a very systematic way. And because, as I said, we were kind of learning long distance, it was one of those kind of things that worked very effectively for me, and it gave me the ability to pass on to my students effectively.
Yeah. So, here in Calgary, it used to be BDB, martial arts, now Champions Creed. We're hearing all about it. Got a tour of the facility, fantastic. Talk about the gym, talk about the time you're putting on here, and and what's involved here.
Yeah, so we were BDB for a long time. We got quite a reputation off that gym. We produced a bunch of decent fighters. Obviously, had quite a bit of success, but it was time to expand, get to a bigger place, more opportunities in a bigger place for our staff, our fighters, everything else. Get some equipment like a cage, a boxing ring. And then I've been thinking about changing the name for a long time, because when I originally started with BDB, BDB is my initials, Brian Daniel Bird. And, at the beginning I thought that made sense, and I liked it. I wanted people to understand that it was my gym, but this has grown so much beyond me that I wanted to represent that in the name, that this is more of a team. It's not just me, it's Sheila Bird, it's Brad Cardinal, it's Noah Ali, it's Nick Ring, all my fighters, all my staff make this place what it is. And so it was time for a change of facility, and at the same time we thought it was a good time to change the name.
Yeah, and you mentioned 3 great names there in MMA. We've ranked 3 of them. First maybe your wife Sheila, one of the top female fighters in Canada. What's up with Sheila these days?
Well, Sheila is still looking to fight some more MMA fights. Obviously, she's had a lot of success in the grappling and jiu-jitsu world. She is now trying to focus on MMA more. She's had a little bit of setback. She had some injuries. She's now getting over them. She's starting to get back into training. And so, yeah, look at her maybe to fight maybe in the fall.
Yeah. Any word from Invicta at all, like the female organization?
Yeah, they actually have contacted us. That's definitely a possibility. There's quite a few different possibilities. We definitely like fighting for AFC here in Calgary as well. Steve Fader's organization has treated us very well. So that's also a place we'd like to fight for again.
Yeah, we all saw her defeat Kim Couture there. That I think millions saw that.
Yeah.
Brad Cardinal, another name. He's a top-ranked lightweight. Talk about Brad and what's up with Brad.
Well, Brad is same thing. He's training, looking for fights. We have a few things in the works for him as well. He wants to make sure that he's properly prepared for whatever he comes up, whoever he comes up against. And we're looking to try and get him into the bigger show eventually here. Brad's probably going to be traveling to Thailand for about a month here in the fall, and get a little bit more work on his stand-up striking. And then after that, there's a good chance he'll be fighting right away.
And now the big man, of course, is Nick Ring. He's fighting UFC 149 this weekend. How's the training going for him, and how do you see this fight going?
Training's been going really well. Nick's ready to rock. We got His conditioning is awesome. He's been focusing really well on all the areas that are going to be necessary for this fight. We've got a good, strong game plan that he's been trying to implement here as best he can, and it's looking great every time he gets out there and does it. I see this fight being action-packed. Court McGee's a tough guy, and you know he's coming prepared, and so are we.
Yeah. So as Nick Ring's trainer here, you know, you must have walked through the door a first time. Do you remember like the early Nick Ring coming in here, and what was that like?
Well, Nick actually was a kickboxer, Muay Thai fighter, before he started grappling or MMA. And basically how I met Nick is I started teaching jiu-jitsu at the club that he was training kickboxing out of. So basically he was already there, saw what we were doing, thought, oh, that's cool, I'd like to come try it out, and it kind of went from there. Now, the interesting thing about Nick is people always ask, like, did you see something in him right away? To be honest, Nick is not actually a very fast learner, and I know that sounds kind of funny thing to say, but it's actually a compliment. And what I mean by that is the reason he's done as well as he has and he's as successful as he is because he's the guy where everybody else does 5 or 10 reps, he'll do 100 reps to get it, but once he has it, then it's solid and he can use it again and again. But he needs to work hard to get the results, and it's his work ethic that has gotten him as far as it has.
And you've been involved with the UFC for, you know, this fight here in Calgary. You know, talk about the whirlwind that's been your gym this past week. You know, what that's been like.
Yeah, that's been unbelievable. It's been a huge opportunity for us. So the UFC coming here, they did their open workouts. They brought 12 of the fighters on the card this weekend to come train in the cage for the media, for the public. They had Octagon Nation here. They had a bunch of live radio. For us, obviously, it was fantastic, very exciting. Gave the chance for a lot of people to see us for the first time and experience the excitement of what it looks like for guys training, fighting, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, well, you know, I'd like to thank you, Brian Bird, for your time. You know, everybody in Calgary, you know, Champions Creed seems to be the place to go to. You know, guys from Red Deer, all across Alberta, this is the place they're heading. You know, thank you for your time on a really hectic week. Much appreciated.
All right, thank you very much.